Hey, come see me do stand-up in Ontario, California, Las Vegas, and Davenport, Iowa. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Dan Cohen is here. He's going to give us the 411 on what's happening in Haiti. Dan is an independent journalist and filmmaker based in D.C. He's reported from Israel, Palestine, Latin America, U.S.-Mexican border for places like Mondoweiss, The Nation, Alternate, Gray Zone, Al Jazeera, English, Vice News. He currently operates his own journalistic outlet called Uncaptured Media, and his latest documentary is called Haiti, Intervention versus Revolution. All right, Dan, great to see you, buddy. So I'm going to play this video. Do you want to set it up, or should I just play it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the clip that I sent you. Oh, yes. Okay, so this is what you're going to see is a guy named Jimmy Cherizier, alias Barbecue, who, if you were on Twitter or X a few months ago, you may remember. He was the subject of a bunch of allegations about cannibalism in Haiti.
Yes.
They were saying he's like the leader of a cannibal gang in Haiti, which is totally false.
So when I saw that, yeah, my spidey senses went up. It's like, okay, so they're trying to obviously smear this guy, so he must be going against the United States regime somehow, right?
Exactly. He's basically the leading anti-imperialist figure in Haiti, which says a lot. And so what he has tried to do over the years is take these different armed groups in various impoverished neighborhoods of Port-au-Prince, of Haiti's capital, and that had been fighting for years. Some of them criminals and some of them anti-crime. He's always been an anti-crime guy. And he's basically tried to unite them to say, let's stop fighting against each other and let's turn our weapons against the oligarchs who are keeping us down, who are paying us to kill each other. And so our documentary that I made with Kim Ives of Haiti Liberté called Another Vision, it's a 3-part series, which, we've talked about it on the show before. It documents that process up through 2021. And then this latest episode, he finally succeeds in uniting a number of the armed groups. So what you're going to see here is he sits down with one of his former rivals, a guy who he fought a lot with, and they talk about how they're going to fight against a foreign invasion.
Okay, let's play it.
Jean soldat irrégulier au te fait, violer ti filles, violer femmes. Y a fait même j'en ai parlé yo pote choléra pour nous, côté 20 000 haïtiens mourir dans choléra, plus passer 500 000 autres infectés. L'ONU connaît ça yo. L'ONU mène bon enquête, li connaît que c'est ne parler yo et que quitter pote choléra. Qui ça yo fait? Yo pas jamais dédommager nous et yo refuse reconnaître que c'est yo qui te porter maladie en Haïti. Et si force étrangère yo t'a vini.
So he's saying that the UN brought cholera to Haiti, which killed 20,000 Haitians.
How? Like they did put it in the water, or they just were infected with it?
Was that intentional, or what was that?
No, it wasn't intentional. Basically, they defecated their sewage from these UN blue helmet, so-called peacekeepers, back in the early days of the UN occupation, following the 2004 U.S. orchestrated coup against Haiti's president, Jean-Bertrand Aristide. These Nepalese troops leaked sewage into a prominent river, and it got a lot of people sick and killed them. So basically, cholera happens when you get sewage in the water, and that's been a condition that has existed since then.
Okay. So he says, if the foreign troops came to get rid of Ariel Henry, we would be happy. Who's Ariel Henry?
So Ariel Henry is the former de facto prime minister. He was, after the president, the elected president was assassinated in July 2021. The U.S. just put in just basically anointed this guy Ariel Henry to be the prime minister, and he was the de facto prime minister. So we filmed this last August, and at that point, the whole country wanted to get rid of Ariel Henry. They were leading the fight against him, against this U.S. puppet. Finally, in February of this year, February 28th, 29th, it was a leap year, they succeeded in getting rid of him. So now there's a new group in. So this is, it's slightly aged, but the point stands about, what he's saying about foreign intervention.
Okay. So this guy, this Jimmy Barbecue, he's leading a coalition of militias inside Haiti against the United States installed puppets, basically.
Basically, yeah, exactly.
And the oligarchs in Haiti.
Exactly. And he's open, he's repeatedly said, let's have dialogue, but all the oligarchs, they now have this thing called a presidential transitional council, which is just a multi-headed hydra of puppets that the U.S. has installed, that's totally unelected and selected a president. Nobody voted for it. They refuse to talk to him. So when there's no dialogue in politics, that's when it turns to the other form of politics, which is weapons.
Right. As Fred Hampton said, politics is war without weapons. War is politics with weapons. Right. Okay. Here we go. We would be happy if the forces were coming to establish security to allow the people to move about. We would be happy. If the foreign forces are coming to consolidate the power of the oligarchs, the 5% of the people who control 85% of the country's wealth, the foreign forces are coming to consolidate Ariel Henry because they know that. Hang on, I got to back that up.
Sounds like America the way he's talking.
Yeah,
5% control, 85% foreign forces coming in. And
because they know that that he participated in the assassination of, how do you say his name?
Jovenel Moise.
Jovenel Moise. So that was the last president that was democratically elected. He got assassinated in 2021, and they know that he participated. Who's he?
Ariel Henry, the prime minister that the U.S. anointed right after his assassination was a leading suspect in the assassination.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like LBJ.
Yeah. So here we go. And the only way for him to avoid being arrested and facing justice is to have the foreign forces come so they can have a phony election so he can select someone that he wants and he doesn't have to face justice. So they're talking about Ariel and Henry, right? I like to call him Henry.
Ariel Henry,
right.
I say.
I call him Ariel Henry. That's why in the popular neighborhoods, Toto represents Bel Air. What does that mean?
That guy's nickname is Toto.
Oh, okay.
The other guy there, and Bel Air is the next neighborhood over from Barbecue's neighborhood of, it's called Lower Delma, is where.
Okay,
where
so
lives.
Toto. So this guy next to him represents Bel Air, which I'm going to guess is not like the Bel Air here in California.
Right.
He says, I represent the revolutionary forces in the G9. Okay. And today there is no G9 and no G-PEP. What does that mean?
Okay, so the G9 was formed in 2020 by Cherizier and several other armed leaders from different neighborhoods to fight against crime. They said, look, no more kidnapping, no more robbery, no more extortion, no more rape in our neighborhoods. We want to get rid of the criminals. So they pushed the criminals out of their neighborhoods and united to call this thing the G9. And they also provided, they have like clean water and food, and they have a social aspect to what they do. As soon as that was announced, the oligarchs created something called the G-PEP, which means the G people. And that was like kind of like a copycat. It's like an old CIA tactic where you make like a copycat of something. Like because the Jimmy Dore show is doing so successful, so they'll have like, I don't know, the Timmy Shore show to like kind of confuse people, I
want to start the Timmy Shore show.
So the G-PEP, the G people, was totally criminal, and they would get paid by the oligarchs to do all kinds of dirty work, and they had a lot more money. They had more weapons and bigger weapons, and so they would just constantly be battling against the G9. And this is what we show in Another Vision, is that the G9 and G-PEP would fight, but the whole time, Jimmy Barbecue, Cherizier, would always say, look, let's stop fighting. We're all from the same social class. We're all living in this situation together, so why are we fighting against each other? Let's actually change our reality. And so finally, he managed to do that with this agreement was part of it, this with Toto. and created what is called Vivre Ensemble. Vivre Ensemble means live together in Haitian Creole. And that is the primary armed group, that you'll read about in the New York Times or the Washington Post that's so scary. And, we have to send in these foreign mercenaries to take out.
Okay.
Well, if gangs stop fighting, they could turn on the leadership.
That's right. So that's and that's why you saw it in the press that this guy was a cannibal and that his gang is a cannibal. I knew immediately I saw that. I'm like, oh, this is Julian Assange is a rapist.
Yeah,
That's what that is. And yeah, okay.
Their gangs called Live Together.
This is part.
That's the scariest thing there is.
Well, it is coming together along social class lines, and this is the Hamas decapitated 40 babies. That's what this is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We are waiting for the foreign forces. I think if they're going to come and be our popular neighborhoods to shoot, massacre, and rape people, if they think they're going to come, and then we in the popular neighborhoods who have, what is that, Dessalines?
Dessalines blood. Jean-Jacques Dessalines was the founding father of Haiti. He is the preeminent Haitian revolutionary who, yeah.
So he's warning that the foreign forces, now the foreign forces is the United States, right? The CIA and whoever they decide to pay, right?
Exactly. They've paid hundreds of millions of dollars to Kenya, of all countries, to basically lead like a blackface invasion, because it's even, I've been saying this for 2 years. As soon as they started announcing that they're looking for another country to be the face of this invasion, I was like, it's obvious. Why? Because Haitians they're very sensitive to foreign intervention, especially from the United States, because the US has repeatedly occupied them, robbed their gold reserves, has treated them horribly, has couped them twice. So the US, the Biden administration wants to do it in like a woke way. They're like, we're going to get, some Africans or whoever else to do it. And so they got Kenyans, and Kenya has like the most atrocious. They got Kenyan
That's gonna be extra brutal.
Paramilitaries. Oh, they have like the worst humanitarian record. The UN documented their use of death squads in the police, where they disappeared thousands of people, and even the police who came out of that death squad and blew the whistle, those guys got disappeared. So that's who they want to send to Haiti to kill these so-called gangs. Is they want to send like real death squads.
Holy shit. So he's saying we will stand and fight until our last drop of blood. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Is there more to this? Let's see.
I think that's it.
So that's it. So that's what's going on in Haiti. So what? So now this. So. So what does the UN have to say about? Don't just in the UN, aren't they hip to? Oh, the CIA's paying Kenyans, and then Kenyans, are they there yet? Did the Kenyans come to Haiti yet?
Well, there's been all kinds of delays. So the Kenyan president, William Ruto, who is basically kind of like he wants to be like a Zelensky. He came here last month, late in May, and met with Biden. And it was, the first visit from an African head of state in many years, which shows kind of how the U.S. even treats its African puppets. And on that day, it was supposed to be these Kenyan police would deploy to Haiti, but there's all kinds of holdups because there's actually resistance in Kenya from people who oppose this, from lawmakers. So it's not a done deal, and it's the whole thing. The main issue is you need what's called a bilateral agreement. So Ariel Henry, when he was still the de facto prime minister, in late February, he flew to Kenya to go sign a bilateral agreement, to sign an agreement with Kenya to have the forces invade. While he was gone, Barbecue and all Vivre Ensemble went and attacked the airport and like key installations. So then Ariel Henry could not get back into the country. That forced him to basically resign, and the U.S. scrambled to cobble something together. Like, we need some new puppets in there because this one has expired. And so that allowed the Kenyan opposition to basically say, look, you don't even have a functioning government. How can you sign something with them when there's no one there? So that was one delay. There's also delays, like the Kenyans said that
So let me just.
Yeah.
So the way this works is, so the United States installs a puppet in Haiti, and then it has to get that puppet that it installs to go make a deal with Kenya to import their death squads under the guise of, probably bringing security to the country, right? And so that's how Kenyans can show up there in Haiti under the guise of, oh no, we're invited.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just a big farce. But then another hang up they ran into is they said, like, well, you can participate in this as a Kenyan cop if you've had less than 3 criminal convictions. And so they've only got like 200 or 300 cops. I mean, it's just a total disaster for them already. And really, to me, it shows actually just the impotence of the empire. I mean, you'd think that, the U.S. could just send in, whatever proxy or
would think,
to just do the dirty job and it would be over. But if you look at it in the broader context of how the U.S. is failing in Ukraine, is failing in Gaza, killing a ton of people, yes, making lots of money for the military-industrial complex, yes, but overall not achieving their goals at all. And Haiti is just, a smaller kind of area on the grand chessboard. And, they seem to be failing. What I do wonder is if, say, Trump wins, this is it's like it would be a perfect kind of thing for Trump's advisors to say, this would be an easy one. Just send some troops in, get this crazy cannibal African, Haitian guy, kind of like they did with Venezuela and saying like,
right,
oh, if you just support this Juan Guaido guy, then that'll be an easy one. We'll take out some socialists and that'll be it. So it's this kind of like drawn out saga that just gets dumber and dumber. But the more that the U.S. kind of bears down on Haiti, the more that the people, these armed groups, unite, which is not an easy task. Barbecue's been working to unite these groups for years and years, and it's an ongoing thing.
Can I ask a question? What made the other group, CPEP? Is that what they're called? GPEP?
Yeah.
What made them? Did they realize they were like a construct of the CIA, and like how did they come together?
Well, they came together originally with money from really dirty oligarchs who are tied to the U.S. Eventually, they got to a point where they had their own money. They had their own weapons. They didn't really need payments from these guys, from these oligarchs. And Barbecue's message started to resonate more with them because he said, basically, like, look at the condition we're living in. We live among, piles of burning trash. Our people are being killed. Like, this is terrible. Why do we, we're proud Haitians. We had the 1804 revolution. We defeated 3 empires. Like, let's respect our history and our tradition and our culture. The other thing is actually the second clip that we have shows quite well. There was the involvement of an American Catholic priest who, if we can play that clip, you'll see he actually played a key role. Okay.
What the people really need now is food. Yo besoin manger.
Yeah. Oh, is that
Freemason necklace?
Is that Jimmy Carter?
Yeah. That's Father Tom Hagen. He is a very dedicated missionary in Haiti who has dedicated his life to building schools and actually, the NGOs and a lot of the missionaries are frankly terrible and are agents of empire. But Father Tom Hagen, I think, is very much an exception to the rule. And yes, in terms of Barbecue being a Freemason, a lot of people ask about this, so finally I get to address it. Yes, Barbecue is a Freemason. It's different, I would say, in the Haitian context than the huge Freemason temple here in DC, where it's an elite kind of cult. In Haiti, people are very superstitious. A lot of people are Freemasons. A lot of even Haitian, Haitians in diaspora, many of them are Freemasons. And it's more, it's also kind of merged with voodoo, the religion, the African religion that was brought to Haiti. So it's more just kind of, it's not as meaningful than, if you saw, like George Bush or somebody being
it's weird because they're Catholics, aren't they, mostly there? Like, I thought the church is like, you can't be a Freemason. I don't know. Everybody's got their own thing, I guess.
All right, let's play this.
To get food.
I think so.
One of the key figures involved in both the peace accord and the community projects is Father Tom Hagen of Hands Together, an NGO that builds schools across the country.
My role wasn't that much. It was just kind of like a suggestion, because we've had a couple kind of truths before, and but interesting, not many people have even come to say, hey, this is a good thing. Nothing at all. And I wonder sometimes if it's just have a suspicion that maybe the people want these gangs to be called bad people or bad gangs because they use them for different reasons, political reasons and whatever else. But I'm willing to stand up and say, hey, there's goodness in them, and I bet my life on this guy. He's a good person.
Okay.
Well, he's not going to make it to the inner Freemason circle with that good attitude. I'll tell you that.
So he's basically. I mean, does this guy have any power?
No, he doesn't have any power. But what he does is, for one thing, so that's in Barbecue's neighborhood, Lower Delma, where they are building. You know, you could see they had construction going on, and now it's complete. They built a number of schools. They built shelters, they built a restaurant, they have a swimming pool for kids, and it's all community projects trying to improve the situation where the state has failed. I mean, decades and decades of U.S. neoliberalism has totally gutted the state. There's no social services. Nobody collects the garbage, for example. So those kinds of things are what Cherizier has organized his neighborhood to do. And with the help of this guy, Father Tom Hagen, who is a neutral figure, he can talk to different. It's easier for him to talk to different armed leaders and say, "Hey, why don't you guys sit down and talk?" So he played a role, not a major role, but he played a role in this, and it's a kind of different side. You know, I mean, most Haiti so-called experts are afraid to talk about this stuff. They will not talk about. It's kind of
people think it's a conspiracy. People think you're talking about a conspiracy. And I have friends say that to me, not even like to me, like, oh, you're conspiracy. I'm like, this ain't about UFOs, dude. This is land news. This is normal world news. It's not a conspiracy. It's just the news.
Well, I think with Cherizier and Vivant Sam, it's really easy. There's sort of a hegemony in the media where everyone, from the New York Times to kind of left-wing media, says Barbecue is bad. He carried out these massacres, and they'll just repeat this ad nauseum. And it's, you know, I've debunked thoroughly the claims about massacres that he allegedly carried out. We did that in our documentary Another Vision. We have an entire episode dedicated to it. But people are afraid, because no one else is doing it, people are afraid to challenge that narrative. So most people who go on, whether it's CNN or alternative media, and talk about Haiti, they just say they're gangs, they're bad,
yeah, right.
they kill
you just write them
people.
off.
Yeah, or, you know, they just, like, they make the focus, these are paramilitaries, these guys are really bad. But it's, the fact is, the so-called gangs, I think, are the most authentic representation of the impoverished neighborhoods, the masses of Port-au-Prince in particular that exist, warts and all. That's not to say that they're angels, but it's the condition that Haiti and really Port-au-Prince is in. So the two options basically are, well, we can just say, yeah, let's let the U.S. proxy force go in and support that, and, you know, they'll just kill a bunch of people and we'll have another decade-long occupation. Or we can say this is a good process where groups that were fighting, and some of whom have committed very heinous crimes, Cherizier not being one of them, but they put down their weapons, they unite and create their own path. Like, Haitians actually improve their condition.
But that could destroy the whole prison.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think's going to happen?
I think what we are seeing is a revolutionary process where, you know, now this group, Vivant Sam, has expelled the U.S. puppet Ariel Henry. It forced the U.S. to scramble to cobble together what this Haitian presidential transitional council, which is just a bunch of puppets. They put in a bunch of just a bunch of opportunists and cynics and scoundrels, all seeking power, and they all had to swear to support this proxy force coming in, so they don't have any actual power. And then they just appointed a prime minister, Gary Coney, who was the prime minister already. He was Bill Clinton's aide following the 2010 earthquake, when Bill Clinton was the UN special envoy for Haiti, and then he was appointed as prime minister when Hillary Clinton was was running the State Department. So it's just the same old political class they're trying to put in. And so now it's like, okay, these people want to be hood ornaments on the U.S. tank coming in, but so that now it's, well, what is going to happen? Is the U.S. going to get this proxy force in? Is it going to fail? And then that becomes an argument for Trump to come in and say, you know what, we got to send a bunch of Marines in there. We got to just take this guy out because the Haitians are coming to our borders and they're going to, cannibalize us. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I see a revolutionary process unfolding, and I hope it succeeds. It could fail. Anything could happen, but so far I'm sort of optimistic.
I'm impressed that Freemason is actually doing masonry. You never see that. That's why I was so suspicious. How come they don't build nothing? Here they are.
I hate to be a pessimist, but my guess is the American Marines will go in, crush them, and
they'll be busy in China or in Taiwan.
It's closer. They're closer, so it's easier to send them to Haiti.
Well, I think we have to outsource this one.
I mean, Trump will think, just like Dan said, it's always, we got an easy victory.
They'll be busy arresting Rachel Maddow.
Let's go get a victory. That's what they're going to say. It's like Grenada with Reagan when in the 80s. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that.
We showed them 16 whatever.
We showed them, there's like 15 guys.
We showed those Antifas.
Yeah. And so that's what it's going to look like. That's what it's going to be sold to Trump as, and that's what he'll do.
Well, it's morning in America soon.
Yeah. And
that's assuming Trump gets in, which is, who knows what they're going to do to him to prevent that.
I bet you it's going to be a Reagan times coming. It's going to be like they let all those people in like Scarface. The Cuban, Mario boat lift. Joey Diaz pointed out the crime Miami is crazy, but it built it all up, and everybody. So on a national scale, we have that here. So now Biden is not popular. I bet they're going to do a whole Reagan thing. It's going to be like a big right-wing morning in America kind of reset, the opposite of what they were promising.
Okay. All right. Well, Dan, I appreciate you coming on and keep us updated. Let us know when the Marines land. And so that Kenya thing, that's still on pause.
Yes. It's on pause for the moment, and we're just kind of seeing what happens. They just kind of keep kicking the can down the road with one delay after the next. So
do we have backup AFRICOM nations to do our dirty work if Kenya doesn't want to,
I mean, they have other countries involved. Kenya is the main supplier of the armed force, but there's like Benin, there's Chad, there's the Bahamas are supposed to send some cops, a few other countries. But I mean, overall, even if they get imagine they get several hundred police in there. I mean, there are several thousand so-called gang members. You're going into a place where you're going to try to fight essentially an insurgency on unfamiliar terrain, where you're outnumbered, you don't speak the language, and like Gaza or like Vietnam or Afghanistan, all of that exists. It's a similar situation, and people blend in with the crowd. People blend in with the masses, and that's, I mean, if they want to make barbecue and vivre ensemble more popular, then that's the perfect way to do it, to launch an invasion, because then he'll get more of the masses of people rallying around him.
But Israel did that, and it's helping to get rid of Hamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Dan Cohen, everybody check his work out at Uncaptured Media and his documentary called Haiti, Intervention versus Revolution. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, come see me do stand-up on tour in Ontario, California, Davenport, Iowa, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, a special video show with stand-up, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.